Hey Buns, today we're going to be doing some secret finding. So we are going to look for all the fun little Easter eggs that are hidden around the world of Final Fantasy XIV. And this is by no means a comprehensive list, but I can tell you that I've been playing the game since Heavensward, and I did not know about most of this stuff until, I started doing the research for this video. So a lot of it should be new to you, even if you've been playing for a while. Let's get started. Did you know that the Chocobo companion menu will play the Chocobo jingle if you cycle through the Chocobo stances in a specific order? Now, I was not able to do this on my own because you need to have at least 1 point in every skill tree, and I don't have any points in Defender for my Chocobo. But I have a friend who sent me the footage, so we can listen to that now. I wouldn't say that it's exactly perfect, but it is recognizable. Certain minions will interact with each other whenever they are close to each other. So, like if you get a Moogle and somebody else has a Moogle minion, really any Moogle minion. We tested this with a couple of different types, like the Bride's Moogle, the Taoist Moogle. They will all start dancing to each other, and I don't even know what the limit is to how many Moogles could be dancing together at the same time, because they just kept on piling on into the dance party. Also, Wind Up Exdeath and Guido will fight if they're near each other. I think the Omega minions will fight as well. The Guido and Exdeath fight is actually a reference to FF5, where Exdeath and Guido the turtle fight, Guido being a turtle who is also a sage, actually, which makes sense because I guess as a turtle, he's too slow to play Scholar. In the Drowned City of Scala dungeon, when you get to the second boss, if you have a Miqo'te in your party, and that Miqo'te has the well-fed food buff up, then you will see a fat cat appear inside the boss, and in his little clone thingies also have the fat cat there. We tested this with and without the food buff. You gotta have the food buff up for it to work, and I've also heard a rumor that it works on Hrothgar, but I didn't have time to test that, so maybe you can go out and perform some tests. In the level 80 dungeon, the Hero's Gauntlet, there's a very tiny chance that you might run into Hildebrand in the last stretch near the final boss. Now, it's pretty rare. I've done that dungeon a lot of times, and I've only seen him there once, but I do have some screenshots that I can show you, and I will also show on the map the place where you can inspect to find him. In Liam Meg, that's the Pixie Beast Tribe area. I think you need to have completely finished all of the Pixie Beast Tribe quests for this to happen, but once you've done that, go to the fountain at the very top of that hill where the slide is, and you'll see Tyrbeck and Anlad hanging out in there. If you just sit and wait for 10, 20, 25 minutes, it didn't take very long for me. I think it took about 10 minutes for me. Then they will move and they'll sit down on the edge of the fountain, and then Feoul will be there, Ayzel, the Porksy will be there, and there's a little spot for you to sit and take pics, actually. In the Doman Enclave, if you look carefully, you might be able to spot some hidden Namazu in weird out-of-the-way places, like behind buildings and stuff where you wouldn't normally look, but they're quite bright. So if you are in the vicinity, they're kind of hard to miss, even if it's quite dark out. I remember a friend showed me this in a screenshot, and I first thought that it was Photoshop because it just looks fake. They're so bright, it looks really out of place. I'm not sure, though, if you need to finish Doman Restoration to be able to see them, so you might need to finish it if you want to catch one. In the Shadowbringers Zone of Kalusha in the town of Tamra, there is a house that you can only get into if you are a Lalafell. Now, I, being a Vera, could not fit my big buns in the front door, so I have a video for you from an insider. I got a Lala on the inside. It's gonna save us all a Fantasia. On the Doom train, that is 05 normal, probably also Savage, aka Sigmascape V1, there is a tiny chance that whenever a ghost teleports you into the train cart, instead of fighting a ghost, you will instead run into Siegfried. Now, that's a reference to Final Fantasy VI, when Siegfried shows up in the train, calls your guy an over-muscled moose, and then dies in one hit, which is pretty much the same deal in 14. He's a pushover and will die quick, but at least in this game, he doesn't steal your loot after. The next time you do Palace of the Dead, instead of blindly barreling through every floor while you watch Netflix on the other screen, consider taking a closer look at some of the enemies you encounter, as you might recognize some of them from your time doing the main story quest. Now, these are all going to be characters that have died, and I don't want to show that. I'm going to be showing generic Palace of the Dead footage here, but if you're curious about what characters you could be running into, I'm going to put that link, which is pretty spoilery, in the description down below, where Gamer Escape went through and tried to identify all of the dead that you could encounter in Palace. For the last one, it's going to be spoilery for the Tamtara Deepcroft Hard Dungeon, so if you haven't finished that and you don't know about the character of Edda, you might want to just end the video here. Thanks for watching. So I'm going to give you just a second if you're not past that. All right, so the ghost of Edda. After completing the Tamtara Deepcroft Hard Dungeon and that whole quest line, there is a tiny chance that Edda could spawn in Ul'dah, in Gridania, in Limsa Lominsa for just a couple of seconds at 2:01 a.m. Eorzea time. Now, there's certain spots where she could appear, and I've heard it has to rain during this, but then I saw screenshots where it was not raining, so I don't really know. But overall, this is the creepiest thing I heard, because I just think about all the times that I was on the market board just minding my own business, going about my day, and she was there and I didn't know it. She was there, she was watching. Seriously though, if I see Edda hiding behind a lamppost when I turn around, I'm gonna have a heart attack. In general though, I really think Easter eggs like this are great to have in the game, because they make people a little bit more aware of their surroundings and more curious about what's hiding just off the beaten track. I think it adds a lot of mystery to the world, as you realize that not everything is as it always seems at face value. It's like there's treasure everywhere, you know? I think Easter eggs and little puzzles like this can also get people to work together to figure out what the spawn conditions are, like what do you need to do to make something happen. I can't imagine what it must have been like for the people who first found out that you need a Miqo'te with a well-fed buff in the party to make the fat cat spawn in the drowned city of Scala. I also think it does allow the devs to get a little bit more creative in sometimes bizarre ways, and it's those sort of weird things that make the game more memorable. Like, I would love to see maybe different kinds of Easter eggs, like hidden quests, even hidden rewards. These can be ways to drop lore tidbits or maybe tease future upcoming content. I'm remembering right now my time playing World of Warcraft when that was a very common thing that they had in that game. Lots of hidden secrets everywhere. One major one that I'm sure most people do know about is in the throne room, the entrance to the Undercity, when if you turn up the ambient sound, you can hear the audio from the Warcraft 3 cinematic where Arthas has that final confrontation with his dad. That's unforgettable. I think that's one of those things that just sticks with you forever. And so more stuff like that in Fallout 14, I would be really happy to see. I mean, maybe there are a lot of them that we don't know about that nobody's figured out yet, and I would certainly be on the lookout for them in Endwalker. Do you know of any Easter eggs that I didn't mention here today? If so, let us know how to get to them in the comment section down below, or at least just give us some hints to it. If you like this video, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon or on Twitch. You can also support the channel for free just by clicking the subscribe button or by sharing this video with your fellow Warriors of Light. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!